Today, I'm going to talk about the 10 deadliest aircraft crashes in the civil aviation history. The list is going to be according to the number of lives lost in the accidents, and I'm only going to include the civil aviation aircrafts, not the military aircrafts. So if you guys are ready, fasten those seat belts because we are ready for takeoff. What's up, elevators, and welcome back to the FlyTuber, flying simplified through YouTube. My name is Ali Asghar, and on this channel I talk about interesting aviation facts and aircraft knowledge. So if you are an aviation enthusiast and are interested to know more about aircrafts and flying, consider subscribing. Air travel is proven to be the safest mode of transportation of all. Even in these pandemic days, the most care, measures and sanitation etc. is being taken care of in this industry, at airports and in the aircrafts. But aircrafts do sometimes crash, taking a lot of lives all at once with them. Now this video isn't meant to scare you guys, but rather I'm just here to share 10 rarest of rare of such occurrences with you. So let's get into this topic. Number 10 on the list is Pan Am Flight 103. On 21st December 1988, a Boeing 747-100 aircraft was flying from London Heathrow Airport to New York's John F. Kennedy Airport, carrying along with it 243 passengers and 16 crew members. Now 30 minutes into the flight, the aircraft was cruising at about 31,000 feet altitude when a loud bang and an explosion was heard. A bomb went off in the aircraft, ripping the whole aircraft mid-air into huge chunks. The aircraft fell down into the streets of Lockerbie, which is a city or a town in Scotland, killing all 259 souls on board and also along with them 11 people from the streets, taking the total to 270 fatalities in all and giving this crash the name the Lockerbie bombing. Number 9 on the list is American Airlines Flight 191. On 25th May 1979, a McDonnell Douglas DC-10 aircraft was flying from Chicago O'Hare Airport to Los Angeles Airport, while shortly after takeoff, the left engine of the aircraft ripped away from the aircraft, damaging the hydraulic lines along with it, due to which the slats of the left engine all retracted, banking the aircraft sharply towards the left. Now, all the attempts of the pilot to recover the attitude of the aircraft was failed. The aircraft eventually crashed, taking away the lives of all the 271 people on board, including another 2 people on ground, taking the total to 273 fatalities. Later investigations revealed that there was an error in the maintenance procedure earlier. When the engine was being attached to the wing, the pylon was damaged, which eventually failed. Number 8 on the list is Iran Air Flight 655. On 3rd May 1988, an Airbus 300 aircraft took off from Bandar Abbas Airport in Iran and it was headed towards Dubai. Now, once it was out above the Persian Gulf, down on the waters there was a US Navy warship patrolling the area. It is believed that all the calls to the Iran Air aircraft went unanswered, due to which the US Navy warship thought it to be an Iranian fighter jet and shot 2 radar-guided missiles at it. Now, the missiles hit the aircraft, taking down the aircraft and all the passengers along with it, killing all 290 people on board. Number 7 on the list is Malaysian Airlines Flight 17. On 17 July 2014, a Boeing 777 aircraft was flying from Amsterdam Schiphol Airport to Kuala Lumpur. When it was flying at 35,000 feet over eastern Ukraine, the Ukrainian extremists shot a surface-to-air missile at the aircraft, bringing down the aircraft, killing all 298 people on board. Now, this was Malaysian Airlines' second hull loss and aircraft loss within 4 months, when 4 months before, in the month of March, the Malaysian Airlines MH370 went missing, which remains the one of the most mysterious aircraft disappearances of this time. Number 6 on the list is Saudi Arabian Flight 163. On 19th April 1980, a Lockheed TriStar aircraft was flying from Riyadh to Jeddah, carrying 297 passengers and 4 crew members along with it. 7 minutes after takeoff, the cockpit crew received smoke and fire alarms from the aft area of the aircraft. They returned back immediately to the airport to carry out a successful emergency landing. But the aircraft was engulfed in fire, and after the emergency landing, the crew delayed the evacuation procedures, due to which all 301 people on the aircraft died. Now, if it helps make you feel any better, the crew these days are trained to complete the entire evacuation procedure within the 90 seconds using all available exits. If you are getting value out of this video and if you think that I added information to your knowledge, do hit the thumbs up button and do share the channel with your friends. Number 5 on the list is Air India Flight 182. On 23rd July 1985, a Boeing 747 aircraft was flying from Toronto, Canada to the Indian capital, New Delhi. In the middle of the flight, a bomb went off. The bomb is suspected to have been planted by someone known as Mr. M. Singh, who is believed to be from the Sikh extremists group known as Babbar Khalsa. The aircraft crashed into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Ireland, killing all 329 people on board. Number 4 on the list is Turkish Airlines Flight 981. On 3rd March 1974, again a McDonnell Douglas DC-10 aircraft was flying from Istanbul to London Heathrow Airport with an intermediate stopover in between at Orly Airport in Paris. Now in the second leg towards the London Heathrow Airport, the aircraft had 335 passengers and 11 crew members on board when, due to a design flaw in the aircraft, the aft cargo door blew off from the aircraft, ripping off the control cables of the aircraft, making the aircraft uncontrollable for the pirates, and 77 seconds later it crashed in a nearby forest, killing all 349 people on board. Number 3 on the list is Saudi Arabian Flight 763 and Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907. On 12th November 1996, Saudi 763, which was a Boeing 747 aircraft, took off from New Delhi towards Saudi Arabia with 289 passengers and 23 crew members on board. Another aircraft, Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907, which was coming into land into Delhi, having 27 passengers and 10 crew members on board, was cleared for flight level 150, which is 15,000 feet. However, due to miscommunication and a language barrier, the crew on Kazakhstan Airlines, however, descended to 14,000 feet, which was the exact level where the Saudi aircraft was. Now, this led to mid-air collision of both these aircrafts. Both the aircraft crashed some 60 miles west of New Delhi near a place known as Charki Dadri, killing all the people of both the aircrafts, taking the total to 349 fatalities in total. Investigations later revealed that poor English and communication skills of the Kazakhstan Airlines crew led to this accident. Now, sacrifices of others make way for improvements and safety for the generations and people to come. Which is why two things happened after this crash. There was more significance given towards the level of English of the crew members. An ICAO level 4 is the bare minimum which a flight crew needs to have. And another very important change happened was the mandation of TCAS, or Traffic Collision and Avoidance System, on every aircraft. Now, I'll make a separate video on TCAS in the videos to come, so stay tuned. This is also one of the best examples to teach to young aspirants as to how important communication and language skills is in this industry. Number 2 on the list is Japan Airlines Flight 123. On 12th August 1985, a Boeing 747 aircraft was flying from Tokyo Haneda Airport towards Osaka International Airport in Japan, and it was carrying a massive 509 passengers and 15 crew members along with it. Now, 7 years earlier, a tail strike had happened on this aircraft, due to which on this fateful day, the rear bulkhead of the aircraft failed. It ripped off, along with it taking the vertical stabilizer and the rudder with it, and also damaging the hydraulic lines, making the aircraft barely flyable. Now, the cockpit crew, with such a bad shape of this aircraft, even then they managed to keep the aircraft airborne and the people alive for another 32 minutes, which is a lot for an aircraft in such a bad shape. But eventually, the aircraft crashed into Mount Osutaka, which is near Mount Fuji, killing 520 people, and surprisingly, 4 people even managed to survive this crash. But still, this crash was the deadliest involving a single aircraft and the second deadliest air crash in the aviation history. Alright, so the number 1 and deadliest aircraft accident in aviation industry was Pan Am Flight 1736 and KLM Flight 4805, also known as the Tenerife disaster. On 27th May 1977, due to the terrorist bomb blast at the nearby Canary Island Airport, many flights were diverted to a smaller Tenerife Island Airport, also known as the Los Rodeos Airport at Tenerife. That being a smaller airport, it only had one taxiway, so the runway was also being used for taxiing aircraft into the position for takeoff. In the midst of all this, KLM Flight 4805, which was ready for takeoff at the threshold, was given a departure clearance, which is different from the takeoff clearance. Now, the crew mistook it to be a takeoff clearance and initiated their takeoff run and started throttling down the runway. While at the same time, the Pan Am flight was also taxiing on the runway. The KLM crew did realize their mistake, but it was too late till then, and all their efforts of an early rotation and getting airborne failed, and both the aircraft collided on the runway. Now, both these aircrafts were Boeing 747s, the largest back then. All 234 passengers and 14 crew members on board the KLM died, while on the Pan Am flight, out of the 380 passengers, 61 lucky survivors who were seated in the front portion of the aircraft, which had crossed the runway, survived, while the rest died, taking the total to a massive 583 fatalities in what became aviation's worst nightmare and the deadliest aircraft accident in aviation history. Alright, so that was the 10 deadliest aircraft crashes in aviation history. I'll link the documentaries to these aircraft crashes and investigations down in the description below so that you can check that out. But apart from these, there is one more incident wherein most number of lives were claimed, even more than the Tenerife disaster, which is the 9/11 attacks on World Trade Center back in 2001. Now, this incident claimed almost 3,000 lives and upwards of 25,000 people were injured, but I didn't include that in this list because that was not an accident, but rather it was a planned and intentional terrorist attack and not an accident. But yes, till date, that remains the occurrence of highest claimed lives involving an aircraft crash. Question of the day: after having watched this video, do you think that air travel is safe at all? Let me know in the comment section below. But yes, like I said, this video wasn't meant to scare you guys, and I myself will answer to this question of the day in a later video explaining to you whether air travel is safe or not. If you guys like the video, do hit the thumbs up button and do subscribe to the channel and share this video and channel with your friends as I keep making such amazing aviation content. And also, you can forward your queries or topics over on the comment section below or over on my Instagram handle. I'll put it somewhere here. I'll come up with a very interesting video very soon. Until then, happy landings.